Okay, guys, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Now, fasten your seatbelts. Here we go.
All right, guys, greetings and salutations. I haven't posted for a few days, but I'm here and I will be posting tomorrow as well. So anyway, let's just get at it. I've got a bunch of items that on a bunch of different topics. Well, we're going to start out with the White House Correspondent Dinner because I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. And I should have done a show yesterday about this, but things have just been busy, extremely busy. Life happens. So let's get into this. And without further ado, and we'll just start at the beginning in no particular order. Hi, Sammy. Okay, this is interesting. I didn't actually want this to be the first one, but it really doesn't matter because we're going to go through it all. Having been called a liar by Anthony Fauci for saying that not one of the 72 vaccines mandated for children has ever been safety tested, RFK Jr. sued Fauci. After a year of stonewalling, Fauci's lawyers admitted that RFK Jr. had been right all along, which we all knew, didn't we? There's no downstream liability, there's no front-end safety testing, and there's no marketing and advertising costs because the federal government is ordering 78 million school kids to take that vaccine every year. What better product could you have? And so there was a gold rush to add all of these new vaccines to the schedule because if you get onto that schedule, it's $1 billion a year for your company. Yeah, it's all about money. It's not about the health of your kids or the health of you. It's all about money. So we got all of these new vaccines, 72 shots, 16 vaccines, and that year, 1989, we saw an explosion in chronic disease in American children, ADHD, sleep disorders, language delays, ASD, autism, Tourette's syndrome, tics, narcolepsy. Autism went from 1 in 10,000 in my generation to 1 in every 34 kids today. You know, when I was growing up and I was in public school, well, even in high school, I did not know anyone who had autism. I didn't know anybody who had an autistic child in their family. These things were extremely rare. And where I grew up, and I don't know if that's an anomaly or not, but I just didn't know anyone. In fact, I didn't start finding out about autism until I was in university and was doing my psychology degree, and I was working with some autistic individuals, and that's the very first time I ever. So yeah, now it's like, it's just an everyday occurrence. Like, I just can't believe how much autism there is. But yeah, anyway, he was right. We all know that he was right. I don't think RFK Jr., I don't know. To me, he seems like he's trying to do the right thing. But again, who really knows? But personally, the things that he's brought out in the open needed to come out in the open, and I think he's been right. So we need to give him credit for that. And now we are going to go on to the press, to the White House press or correspondent dinner, and we're going to listen to this. Now, first of all,
those email accounts have released.
First of all, I've got to preface this by saying I don't always. Now, I do trust that he's got his information right, but he always goes overboard. For example, when Carolyn Levitt joked that, well, there'll be shots fired tonight because, you know, there's usually put downs and so forth. So I didn't take that as, oh, she had foreknowledge. But let's look into this. I know it's kind of long, but it's out there. And when I first saw this, I thought, oh, come on. I wasn't even going to go through and listen to it. But then I thought, yeah, and I started seeing what other people were saying as well, and there may be something to this. So Iran releases proof Mossad and Erica Kirk planned false flag Trump shooting. Iranian hackers who breached Kash Patel's email account have released bombshell evidence that the White House Correspondents' Dinner attack was a false flag orchestrated by Israel and Erica Kirk. Well, I don't know about that, but one thing I do know, and we are going to get into this a little bit further, but one thing I do know is that it's very, very funny how they had stopped work on this ballroom, which is more than just a ballroom. It is a command center underneath it. It's completely secure. And, you know, Trump was wanting this and pushing this and so forth. Whether it's a good idea or not, I don't know. We could sit here and debate that forever. But what I do know is that they had stopped work on that, and then all of a sudden this happens, and the word out of everybody's mouth is, oh, I guess we need that after all. So, that's something kind of interesting. But let's listen to what he has to say.
It's bombshell evidence that the White House Correspondents' Dinner attack was a false flag, orchestrated by Israel and Erica Kirk. Iranian hackers did...
I do believe it was a false flag attack. I do believe that. There's probably very little that could change my mind at this point, because literally just being logical and looking and dissecting the footage that came out, you got to know something's off, really, really off.
Didn't just breach his personal email accounts. They cracked open years of his correspondence. And they made one thing brutally clear. They're still holding the most recent emails, the truly explosive ones. The hackers claim these emails prove that
So, and if you haven't been following this, they're claiming that hackers got into Kash Patel's email. That's what they're claiming. Iranian hackers, which is entirely possible. You know, these people's security measures are stupid. So it doesn't surprise me.
the FBI is actively protecting Erica Kirk and covering up the truth behind Charlie Kirk's assassination. Even more damning, the documents reveal plans for another false flag shooting, this time targeting the president himself. Their warnings were exact, and they've now been proven terrifyingly correct.
Yep.
We've got the bombshell information straight from Kash Patel's inbox coming right up. Before we dive in, subscribe to the channel.
And the thing is, you know, they broke into his emails. They found this out, that they were planning this false flag, and the Iranians told people about it beforehand. So how would they have known unless they pulled it off? And I just really sincerely doubt that.
Requires you to believe in a perfect storm of improbable events so ridiculous that the Apollo moon landing feels like child's play. First, an anon posted alleged shooter Cole Allen's name 2.5 years ago.
2.5 years ago. Do you believe in coincidences? Pepe Tux plus Trump Tux plus wine glass plus Cole Allen plus time machine. Do you believe in time travel? Now, this is odd because it was posted, in 1923. I mean, 2023. What the heck am I thinking? I'm still living in the last century, apparently. So that's odd. Don't tell me that's not odd, because it is. All right.
Featuring a Pepe frog in a tuxedo and a wine glass. Do you believe in time travel? Add in the fact that the shooter, Cole Allen, worked at a NASA propulsion lab right in the middle of an explosion of missing and dead scientists, and something is instantly very, very wrong.
Yeah, this guy, Cole Allen, he worked at a jet propulsion lab, one of the labs where there are missing scientists. He was an engineer. Just strange. Summer undergraduate research fellowship student. And this is Cole Allen. He's a game developer, engineer, scientist, teacher. He was a mechanical engineering intern. He did the summer undergraduate research fellowship student at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory from June 2014 to August 2014. Now, granted, that is only 3 months, but still, it's interesting, fascinating. He's got a master's degree. He's not uneducated.
How many NASA contractors suddenly decide they want to shoot up at a DC Hilton?
Not
A
many.
DC Hilton that just so happened to be hosting the most important people in the current administration, with next to no security at the door. All very strange. Right before Trump was rushed off stage, a man held up a card. 1 second later, Melania reacted with an expression of horror on her face. Even stranger when you learn that Fox News cut off one of their reporters when she seemed to indicate that people at the venue knew that the shooting was a pre-planned false flag.
This is fascinating. And to me, the fact that they cut off her feed says a lot. And they did not have adequate security at the door. The guy just blew right past. And then we've got these comical people, you know, in the position of shooting, but no shots were fired at him. It just very odd. But listen to this. They cut this reporter off.
I want to just quickly tell you, I was sitting next to Caroline Levitt, the press secretary's husband. He was one of our guests. He was seated right next to me. And, right as the dinner was starting, the national anthem happened. And then he kind of leaned over and said, I watched you on TV. You did a great job. You need to be very safe. And he was just very serious when he said that to me. And he kind of looked around the room and he said, there are some...
Yep, just cut off. So a guy leaned next to her and said, you need to be safe. There's a lot. And then they cut her feed. Gee.
Sounds like we lost Aisha's phone there. And this happens, by the way, especially when you have so many people attempting to utilize the same cell service at the same time.
Right.
And then you have the White House press corps, who, during an active shooter situation, decided the best response was to start looting, casually stealing expensive bottles of wine without a care in the world.
This is the press corps. And this is how they behaved during or after. They didn't know. I don't think that they had any idea whether the guy was caught or anything else, but nobody seemed upset. Nobody seemed, but they did seem very intent on stealing the wine, the expensive wine that was at the tables.
Tragically, we've covered shootings, we've covered all sorts
selfies
of
with the wine,
scary and terrible events. But it's
stealing the wine
where you have a loved one next to you in that
stealing
moment.
2 bottles.
No wonder Kash Patel was comfortable enough to sit there in an alcohol-fueled daze, watching the whole thing unfold with those glassy, detached eyes. At least they released the footage of the alleged shooter moving this time. The FBI still hasn't managed to concoct anything resembling moving footage of the patsy Tyler Robinson. Which brings us to Erica Kirk, who reacted with her now trademark fake tears, looking more emotional than she ever did while grieving her own husband.
I just want to go find you.
Was she grieving the failure of the staged false flag? According to Iran, she's in line to be Vice President of the United States when Israel finally seized control of Washington.
Did you hear that? According to Iran, she is, and you can see this all along if you watch closely enough. I'm telling you, if something doesn't happen, she will be the Vice President in the next, because it'll probably be J.D. Vance and Erica Kirk. Maybe not. We'll have to see.
But
here she is. Oh, I just want to go home. And then it's like, oh, look, photo ops. I think I'll just stand here.
That in a minute. And then there's Press Secretary Caroline Levitt, who seemed to have advance warning of the entire plot.
Okay, this part I find absolutely ridiculous. And I'm sorry, but I can't buy into this at all.
Predictive programming? Or something even darker.
This speech tonight will be classic Donald J. Trump. It'll be funny. It'll be entertaining. There will be some shots fired tonight in the room.
This wasn't the only...
Now, the White House press correspondent is known for insults and things. So that's exactly what I think she meant. Now, did she have advanced knowledge? I don't know, but I don't think that if she did, she would have said that personally, but I don't know. Who knows?
Advance warning of the plot. Check the date on this tweet. Here's the problem. We were all ready for this. False flags are Israel's speciality. Thanks to Iranian intelligence, we revealed that Israel was planning to do what they do best, stage another false flag on US soil. This one involving the president himself. The playbook was clear. Stage a false flag, blame Iran, whip the American public into a frenzy, and march them straight into World War III. Seize total control of Washington, crush every voice they label as anti-Semitic.
I think, like, this guy, I think, goes a little bit too far, because I just don't see that. I don't see that, that it was Israel and trying to set up Iran so that, I just can't buy into that, because it's ridiculous, because that's not what happened at all. I just, like I said, he goes too far sometimes.
And fast-track their coup d'etat of the United States of America. It was a classic information operation, scheduled like an entry in a TV guide, says former Green Beret and combat correspondent Michael Yon.
Another fake shooting event with Trump. It's obviously fake. It's keep in mind, when it comes to this giant war that's been going on for a long time, Trump is just part of the actual information operation. That's what he is, right? Just this morning, by the way, I was looking on eBay about buying old TV guides for those who still know what those are. Those were programming guides that would show you, what's going to be on television the next week or two or whatever. The point is information operations are actually scheduled like that. I don't know, for those who have actually seen these sorts of things in person, you can see that they program stuff like that in. And it can be programmed in years in advance, months in advance, weeks in advance. So I mean, these information operations can be quite methodical, right? As soon as the attention rolls off of something, the next one rolls out that they've planned, the stage is set, whatever, right? Space aliens come, those sorts of things. So, I mean, this is just normal. This was just a normal TV guide in somebody's office. It said, and roll them, right?
Warning, this is just the beginning. The false flag was a spectacular flop. Erica Kirk's tears, nothing but a cheap distraction. And right now, we're speaking directly with Iranian hackers who are telling us exactly what they know and what the intelligence says is coming next. Let's be real. We've all been fed the lie that wrinkle creams are the ticket to the 2-minute trick that's like Photoshop for your history is afraid of the steps needed to do it yourself.com/TPV. To anger Israel by pushing for ceasefire with Iran, the countdown hit 0. The scheduling became active, and the production kicked into high gear.
We create a pretend world. We are a global production company. We write the screenplay. We're the directors. We're the producers. We're the main actors. And the world is our stage.
How do you explain this? Google Trends shows a massive spike in searches for Cole Thomas Allen, originating from Israel on April the 23rd.
Now that I find suspicious. Why would anybody be searching for Cole Thomas Allen from Israel on April 16th, 2026?
2 days before, he set foot in the DC Hilton. Why was he being monitored or searched for in Israel before he even pulled the trigger? A deleted Instagram photo has surfaced, showing Allen posing in an Israel defense.
Well, interesting. Shooter Cole Allen seen here in Instagram post wearing an IDF sweatshirt before his profile was removed. Well,
Forces sweatshirt. He's a
maybe it's not so ridiculous after all.
Caltech grad and a mechanical engineer. Someone who understands optics. This wasn't a random thrift store find. It's a signal of alignment that the media is completely ignoring. According to a member of Iran's Handala hack team, Kash Patel's private emails were hacked directly from an Israeli Mossad server. During the breach, the hackers uncovered highly classified documents outlining a series of staged false flag attacks targeting the United States.
This isn't about predicting the future. It's about recognizing when it's being staged.
Yeah.
Call it what you want. Operation, false flag, terrorism. They never use the words you would. But when you strip away the language, what's left is theater. And the media, they're not chasing the story. They're part of it. Roles are assigned ahead of time. Narratives are drafted before anything even goes live. The language, the framing, the experts, it's all there, waiting to be rolled out. It won't feel scripted when you're watching it. It'll feel urgent, real, like you have to accept it right now. That's the trick. And while everyone's focused on the spectacle, something else is moving underneath. There are names that keep coming up in the material. Assets, like Erika Kirk, positioned early, protected from fallout, then elevated once everything settles. They have big plans for her. Her rise is not yet complete.
Did you hear that? They have big plans for her. Her rise is not yet complete. But we knew that. I mean, if you've been really, really paying attention, and this about how they stage these things and how they're planned and everything, we really know this. It's just when you hear somebody come right out and say it, it just becomes even more real.
Not a coincidence, not luck. Designed that way, a beneficiary already written into the outcome. That's what people don't get. The event itself, that's just a setup. The real objective is what comes after. How people react, what changes, whose power grows. We didn't get the whole picture. No one ever does. But we saw enough to know this. It's happening soon. And when it happens, it won't look like a script. It'll look like reality.
Now, this is before the false flag even occurred, that this guy was saying this. And the Iranians had hacked into a Mossad server, and Kash Patel's emails were in there. That's where they got this information.
When you hear the usual suspects in the Mockingbird media warning of domestic terrorists in Iranian sleeper cells, you should think Mossad mercenary death squads, carrying out their duty to wage war through deception and trickery. That's actually their motto. You can fact check.
Yeah, that is actually their motto. By way of deception, thou shalt do war. So, very, very interesting.
Don't believe the global elite and their Israeli henchmen are capable of pulling off a false flag terror attack on US soil? Well, they've done it before, numerous times. As Charlie Kirk began informing his vast audience of young, influential American conservatives, just before he was taken out. From the sinking of the USS Liberty, to the assassinations of JFK and RFK, and then to 9/11, and the wave of fake ISIS beheading videos. They all share one thing. They gave the elites a chance to bend reality, distort the facts, and manufacture a new wave of support for Israel. In other words, the perfect false flags. Reddit.
All right, so that is the majority of what he has to say. The links will be provided beneath the description of the video, as always. And we're going to go on because we've got lots to get to, and I don't want to spend it all there. So let's get into this. Just now, the Trump DOJ just furiously demanded the activist organization drop their lawsuit that's blocking the White House ballroom. Now, I expected that. I really did expect that. And right on cue, they delivered. I knew that this would change the outcome of that. I just did. If they refuse, the DOJ will search to dissolve and dismiss the case. Put simply, your lawsuit puts the lives of the president, his family, and his staff at grave risk. And what would illustrate that more than a false flag event, right? I hope yesterday's narrow miss will, come on. Narrow miss will help you finally realize the folly of a lawsuit that literally serves no purpose except to stop President Trump no matter what the cost. Enough is enough. Your client should voluntarily dismiss this frivolous lawsuit today in light of last night's assassination attempt on President Trump. Well, isn't that interesting? They had a lawsuit to stop Trump from building the ballroom. But gosh, what could we do about that? Well, maybe a false flag to show how very, very important this ballroom really is. I'm just saying, I don't know for sure. I'm just saying that any logical person, their mind would go there. If your client does not dismiss the lawsuit by 9 a.m. on Monday, the government will move to dissolve the injunction and dismiss the case in light of last night's extraordinary events. So now the White House has the power to move in and just dissolve this case so that they can move forward. I'm not saying that it was all about that. I'm just saying that, well, wouldn't your mind go there? Mine did. And we could watch this, but I will leave that link for you, and we will continue on. One sharp question exposes a massive failure. Yeah. And then there's this. Why did J.D. Vance leave before the president during an active threat? And that is unheard of. The first priority in any active shooter or any active threat to the president is to get the president out. That is the very, very first priority. Former CIA intel Larry Johnson checked with the man who wrote the Secret Service training standards, and his answer is damning. Immediately, if you think there's a threat, you get the president, you grab him, and you get him out of there. Well, they didn't do that. What the hell is going on? The media is calling it great work. Johnson calls it something else entirely. So let's listen to this.
Can you explain a bit more? Why was J.D. Vance escorted before the president? So if we play that video again, Kirill, you see the vice president immediately pulled out, but the president waited for a while to have more Secret Service surround him and then slowly moved out. So maybe could that be part of protocol where they have to ensure
No. I'm telling you, that's complete bullshit. I checked with the guy who set the training standards for the Secret Service that have since been eliminated. And he said the protocol is the president is the one to be protected.
Yeah.
J.D. Vance could be president someday, but he's not the primary source. Immediately, if you think there's a threat, you get the president, grab him, and get him out of there. They didn't do that. What the hell is going on? And the fact that the media is just like, oh, nodding along. Oh, yeah, this is a great work by the Secret Service. Nonsense. It was, excuse the language, but it was completely fucked up.
Pardon the language.
All right, let's go through. Have you seen anything else in the videos, in the footage we've seen? We've seen Kash Patel, we've seen Miller, we've seen all of them sitting there. Some of them had Secret Service around them, others like Kash Patel did not. Anything else that caught your attention?
No. Well, again, you see everybody else in the dining room, they're kneeling down. Trump seemed unfazed. Trump didn't seem alarmed at all. Did he know this was going to happen? Had he been pre-briefed? It wouldn't surprise me. I said this thing was staged. This was not just some lone wolf who managed to show up. And particularly the suspicions that descend upon the Trump administration with respect to these kinds of incidents go back to their failure to really release and investigate information on the Butler, Pennsylvania shooting, and then the control over dealing with this guy, Ryan Rutha, who was caught after at the golf course. He didn't take a shot, but he had all these connections to Ukraine. And so we don't know what that was all about. So this is now another third mysterious incident.
Oh, there it is. Okay. So the shots were already heard.
Yeah.
J.D. Vance has already been escorted out.
Yeah. See, Trump doesn't even react.
I find it odd, too, that when interviewed, okay, you just heard those shots, right? Those 3 shots. But when interviewed, Trump said, I thought it was somebody dropping a tray. That does not sound like, let's just go back here for a second and play this.
See, Trump doesn't even react.
you can see Melania mouth, "What happened?" Now, it says a Secret Service agent was shot, but actually, I heard that it lodged in their vest, and they will not say whether it was friendly fire or not. Well, the fact that they won't say whether it was friendly fire leads me to believe that it was. One Secret Service agent shot another. That's what happened. But yeah, let's phrase it as if, you know, it was this this guy that just, you know, busted through security, and yeah, he was saved by his bulletproof vest.
Those guys got their firearms are out and shooting, and apparently they didn't hit him. But so the other thing we don't know, how did he get stopped?
Yeah, how did he get stopped?
Yeah, we haven't gotten any information on that.
Yeah. Was he tackled? So he's got firearms in his hands. He's running at somebody.
Apparently.
You know, in police training, law enforcement training, they do something that's called the Tueller drill, Tueller. And what that drill is, it was developed by a police officer out in California. And basically, if somebody with a weapon like a knife charges you, is 21 feet away, and you have your weapon holstered or your firearm holstered, if you know they hit a button and say go, the guy with the knife starts running at you. Most people can't get their gun out of their holster and shoot to stop the threat in time. So they're saying that 7 yards is sort of a, you know, that's a line where you could be potentially killed or severely wounded. So again, here's this guy running, and he's got a firearm. You don't sit there and say, "Hey, potential Mr. Bad Guy, would you please stop running? Stop. We're ordering you to halt." No, the guns are out, and you're nailing them. You're putting them down.
But when the video we saw when he was sprinting, the guns were out pretty quickly, and I thought shots were fired then.
Yeah, shots were fired. It looks like they missed.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
we don't. Do we have any information on who tackled him yet?
No. And look at the date on bullet holes in the torso.
This is another video the team wants to show.
I just want to go find Suzanne.
They're saying, "I just want to go home." I think it's right after.
Yeah, that's Eric. I think that's Erica Kirk, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you can play the video of Kash Patel and others in the administration, KK, and then we'll go through the manifesto to get his thoughts. But if this was staged, why do you think it was? What's the intention behind it?
To build support for Donald Trump, his poll numbers, you know, make him a sympathetic figure, build the narrative. Trump is being so effective, they keep trying to kill him.
That makes sense, because his popularity is waning, and you know, definitely possible. Okay, so let's go on. All right, look at these people. They are all smirking. These are not "I just survived a mass shooting" smirks. These smirks tell a completely different story. Now, it is odd to see them doing this after a shooting. It is, but yeah, is it possible that Carolyn Levitt hinted about what was going to happen? I can't go down that road, because I just, you know, these press briefing or these press correspondence dinners, you know, there's always insults traded back and forth. And I think that's what was meant there. I think you really have to stretch to believe that she was hinting about what was going to happen. What do you guys think? Honestly, I mean, you're reasonable people. What do you think? So yeah. Yeah, it is interesting. Shots are being fired. Melania is frightened, but Trump isn't. That look he's giving her says everything. All right. And All right. The 155-year-old script running the world, and, you know, it's true. It is true. Let's listen to this.
I don't know about you, but I'm sick and tired of being manipulated. A man wrote down the Third World War in 1871, literally word for word, and we are walking through it right now. His name's Albert Pike, the sovereign Grand Commander of the Scottish Rite Freemason. He sent a letter to Mazzini and laid out 3 world wars in order before any of them ever happened. War number 1, overthrow the czars, replace it with an atheistic communism. War number 2, use fascism and Zionism against each other, destroy Nazism, establish the state of Israel, and that happened in 1948. And War 3, in his words, stir conflict between political Zionists and the leaders of the Islamic world until they mutually destroy each other. Then go drag every other nation into physical, moral, spiritual, and economic exhaustion. And that's happening right now. October 7th, Gaza, Lebanon, Iran trading missiles with Tel Aviv, Syria collapse, Russia and NATO bleeding through Ukraine. It's crazy. And then China's just circling Taiwan. Every nation on earth is picking a side on the Israel and Islamic axis, right on schedule. And we are fully being manipulated. And there's a little bit more proof. The word Nazism did not even exist in 1871. The word Zionism did not exist in 1871. Herzl did not publish The Jewish State until 1896. Fascism was not coined until 1920. Pike named all of it before any of it ever had a name. And he was not a prophet. He was just middle management executing. So now this Israel versus Islam war that you're watching right now, it's a script drafted in 1871, right, performed in 2026. And you, me, the audience, every war you cried over, every president you fought your family about, every side that you picked, already written, already cast, already paid for, and we are literally puppets being manipulated. No matter which side wins, doesn't matter for them. The think tanks that write both party platforms and the men who put their plans on paper and counted on you to be too tired to read them. And it worked for 155 years. And here's the reality, it's not working anymore because you can see it now. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. So here's what you do. Stop voting for the savior they handed you. No man in a suit is coming to save you. Right. Yeshua already told you this. The kingdom of heaven is within you. Stop hating the person they told you to hate. Your enemy is not the Muslim, the Jew, not the Russian, not the Hispanic, not the black guy. Your enemy is the man who profits when you fight your brother. Yes. So stop outsourcing your power to presidents, pastors. Every time you hand your sovereignty to a man, you are voting for the script to continue. You are the creator of your own life. The blueprint is always published. The script is in our hands right now. And we are going to write a different one if we choose to. Thank you. And I love you. I don't know about you.
I hope that's true, that we could write our own script, but I don't know. I mean, when the world's most powerful are conspiring against the people of the world, what can we do aside from pray and trust God? And not give in to the hate and the indifference and the apathy. And that's not easy to do. All right, let's take a look at this. Wells Fargo is turning the air you breathe into a nanobot surveillance prison to own your body and money. Just when you thought it was safe to get back in the water. Patented smart dust will make, has nothing to do with water. Patented smart dust will make every breath a biometric payment slave scan. And it's US 113546666B1. They call it smart dust. Tiny airborne MEMS. MEMS. I know that acronym, but I can't just think of it right offhand. Microscopic sensors smaller than a grain of sand. These motes get released into the air around you. They swarm like invisible demons. They read your biometrics in real time: heart rate, body temperature, voice patterns, motion signatures, facial images, even your electromagnetic field, all captured while you stand there thinking you are just buying coffee. These particles network together in midair. They form a temporary surveillance cloud around your body. They generate a unique authentication key from your living biology. Then they beam it back to approve your payment. Match the profile, payment approved. Do not match, you get flagged as a threat. This is not science fiction. One of America's biggest banks patented it. Granted June 7th, 2022, originally a military battlefield spying tool, now deployed for everyday banking convenience. Breathe it in at the ATM, inhale it at the store. It floats in the shared air around everyone, invisible, deniable, always watching, always verifying, always reporting back. They filed this back in 2016 while the public was distracted with apps and digital wallets. The banks were building the ultimate control system. Payment equals total biometric surrender. Next time your transaction goes through seamlessly, ask yourself, how many of these smart dust particles just mapped your vitals and fed your data into the grid? Wow. I don't even know what to think about that because it just boggles the mind. But they do have the patent. There's the U.S. States patent number 11354666B1, June 7th, 2022. Has anyone filed a criminal complaint? Whoever under color of law. Okay, well, I don't know. Wow. Financier Warren Buffett doing the pyramid sign at the reopening of Jay-Z's 4040 Club in New York in early 2012. Okay. Apparently this sign is the rock sign to represent Rockefeller music label. Who knew? Yeah, this is just unbelievable. If anyone knows any more about this, let me know. Put it in the comments below so that we can all benefit. I do read your comments. But yeah, we're living in interesting times. That's all I can say. Very, very interesting. All right. There's something fishy going on. First Lady Melania Trump stepped off the presidential plane and people immediately noticed something unusual. Did you notice the weird thing in this? Okay, I'm going to make this bigger. Okay, let's start. I noticed they're not holding hands. She's got her hand around. And at first I thought maybe she was holding something in her jacket. I don't know. But she seems very intent on staying covered. Maybe, I don't know. But I did notice that when she got into the vehicle, it did not look like Melania to me. I don't know. Let's see what the comments beneath say, because wearing dark glasses at night, she might be trying to hide something on her face. What's strange about you? Neither this nor that. She was wearing sunglasses at night. We don't know on purpose or by mistake. Okay, she was wearing sunglasses at night. I'm not getting it. I don't see any explanation that I don't see anything. Mainstream media won't show you. Show you what? I don't get it. Okay. Oh, I think they're trying to say that she might be pregnant the way she was, and she was holding herself like she might be pregnant, but we don't know that. Although she does look. Or maybe they're saying it's a different Melania. I don't know, but I don't think that's worth our time. So let's continue on. In a leaked video, Klaus Schwab promises new WEF recruits that their avatar will live on after death and that their brains will be replicated through artificial intelligence and algorithms. Okay. Is that the way you would want to live on? Just, you know, they're always trying or aiming for eternal life without God. Won't work. Anyway, I don't think I'm going to play this because I can't stand him. I can't even stand his voice, but that is what they're talking about. I don't know what this is. The Secret Covenant Fallen Watchers Oath. We will recruit some of their very own to carry out our plans. We will promise them eternal life, but eternal life they will never have, for they are not of us. The recruits will be called initiates and will be indoctrinated to believe false rites of passage to higher realms. Members of these groups will think that they are one with us, never knowing the truth. They must never learn this truth, for they will turn against us. For their work they will be rewarded with earthly things and great titles, but never will they become immortal and join us. Never will they receive the light and travel the stars. They will never reach the higher realms, for the killing of their own kind will prevent passage to the realms of enlightenment. Well, I don't believe all that. I do believe that there are watchers. I do believe there are fallen angels, Nephilim, all that. Yes, totally believe all that. I believe the Bible. But yeah, they are trying to anyway, that's that. It'll be there for you to peruse, and this I think is interesting. Breaking: the aerial poisoning of Europe has reached critical levels. They are not even hiding it anymore. Today alone, tons of nanotoxic heavy metal particulates were dumped from aircraft across European skies. Aluminum, barium, strontium, and who knows what else. You can see the lingering chemtrails crisscrossing the atmosphere like a giant toxic spider web. This is not contrails. I should say these are not contrails. This is not weather modification for your safety. This is a slow motion cull of humanity. That's exactly what they're doing. Sickening rates of respiratory issues, neurological damage, immune system collapse, skyrocketing cancers, and mystery illnesses exploding in every country under these sprayed skies. They are poisoning the air we breathe, the soil our food grows in, the water we drink, all while gaslighting us with climate change excuses and geoengineering lies. They want us weak, they want us sterile, they want us gone. Enough is enough. If you still have a functioning brain, wake up. Well, I think a good portion of us have woken up, but what do we do about it? That's the thing. But look at this. You really literally can see the crisscrossing of this. And I'm a weather weenie. I love radars and I look at this stuff all the time. And I notice when they're spraying in my area very, very heavily that what seems to follow is a rise in illness, hospital admissions, and so forth in the area. So it's happening, folks. We all know it's happening, but what do we do to stop it? I don't know. All right, and explosive report. Very interesting. Edward Snowden drops digital nuke on Joe Rogan. They can control your device, your data, your life. Watch before it's deleted. Edward Snowden told Joe Rogan, they can do whatever they want with your device. Your phone is now a weapon. Your data is their power. This article exposes the digital trap and why Snowden and Rogan are the system's worst nightmares. This isn't theory. Your device is their weapon. So I'm going to leave this. We don't have time to watch it in its entirety, but you can go here and get the well, let's just go there. Edward Snowden drops digital nuke on Joe Rogan. They can control your device, your data, your life. In a moment of surgical precision and zero sugarcoating, Edward Snowden told Joe Rogan the unfiltered truth. They can see everything about you. They can see everything about what your device is doing, and they can do whatever they want with your device. One sentence, one bullet through the illusion of privacy. This wasn't speculation. This wasn't warning. This was a verdict delivered live with the calm rage of a man who has seen the machine from the inside. Every person who owns a phone, tablet, computer, or smart device needs to understand. You are being watched, cataloged, and mirrored. Your microphone and camera are not under your control. Now, I knew that. It can listen to you at any time. And, also, your camera, it can turn on at any time. And it does, because people have shown that the camera is taking pictures all the time. Now, what's happening to those pictures and who are they sent to? Your microphone and camera are not under your control. Your digital footprint is no longer yours. It's a weapon pointed at you. It's not just surveillance, it's intervention. Snowden didn't say they can see your data. He said they can actually act through your device. This means they can activate your camera or microphone without any notification. They can impersonate you digitally, send messages, access apps, even simulate online activity in your name. They can inject illegal or incriminating content in your files and then claim to have evidence. The device you call your own has become a remote-controlled surveillance drone that lives in your pocket, sleeps on your nightstand, and betrays you daily. Very interesting. And of course, there's more, and that will be listed underneath the links will be underneath the description of the video. So I think that's going to be it for today. And we're going to stop it there, but I will be back tomorrow with something new and fresh. Let me know the things that you guys are interested in hearing more about, or interested in me doing deep dives on, whether it be, religion or faith, rather. I'd rather say that than religion. Religion's kind of a negative word, but I'm talking about faith in Jesus Christ. If you want that, or if you're wanting a deeper dive on some issues, let me know in the comments. I appreciate all of you. I do, and love you. And I wish you all a good day. Stay safe, stay well, stay blessed, stay free, and stay informed. Thank you for listening. I appreciate it. Love you, and God bless. See you in the next video.